All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the pre-market show. Hope everyone can hear me okay. Hope everyone had a great fourth yesterday. Peter, how you doing this morning?
I am wonderful, thanks, Carlos. I hope you had a great 4th of July as well.
Yep, excellent, excellent. I did. I had a great time. So hope everyone else did also. As you guys know, so Norm is on vacation. He'll be out for a couple of days. So Peter will be filling in for him in the pre-market show, and we'll wait for him to get back. All right, guys. So let's get into it. Not sure what to expect today, but the gappers list is definitely telling us what kind of day it's going to be. Not looking very exciting right now. It's just KPTI up here, making some noise. Everything else is pretty flat. Looking at the spies, making some small movements now, but so I see some volume coming in there, but again, nothing too great. And then everything else is kind of what we expect out of a day like today. So let's take a look at some of the stocks we traded on Wednesday. So Wednesday was half a day, and this was our watch list Wednesday here. So let's just go through these top plays and highlights of Wednesday, and then we'll get into what could be possibly moving today and kind of the strategy we're going to set up for today, because it's going to be one of those days where patience and watching the scanners will be important. Let's look at Tesla. So Tesla, the last trading day had some good trading. Let's just get in here and see some of the details. Let me get my 1 minute chart also on the same page here. Here we go. What's going on with the 1 minute? There it is. That's a little better. Seems to be having issues zooming in. Okay, so here we are. So again, Tesla was very active, guys. You can see on here, this is a very big indecision candle, very difficult to trade. But once it starts leaving VWAP here and kind of losing some of the volume, so I had a lot of volume on this first 5 minute candle here. But once it settles in a bit, this is a great short, and a lot of people took this for a short here in the chat room. You can see here leaves some of the lows that it had at the pre-market, and you can see clearly just dropping nicely here. Look at this the 1 minute as well was very clean. Again, in here is very choppy, and these candles give you this here, which is a very big indecision. Again, drops down, goes back up, and then kind of closes slightly above. So again, at that point, you had no idea what type of a candle is going to be or what the situation is happening here. But again, once it settles in, leaves VWAP, you get another test for VWAP, and it sells right back down. Good selling pressure here. This is a good indication the stock is weak, right? You sell off, the buyers try to get in here, pushes back up. As soon as it hits VWAP, you can see it cannot make a new high, and then it just starts dropping nicely. So a good entry for a short. If you missed this drop, maybe this one would have been great. Set your stop loss slightly above these moving averages here, or you can even this moving average up here if you want to do a 2-to-1. And then a beautiful nice drop here. It kind of does a double bottom on the one. Again, I don't like to do the double bottoms on the one. I think they're not as strong as seeing it on the 5 or the 15. I prefer those. But it does a double bottom here, and then here once all the moving average start getting below, it could have been a great entry for a long as well. And then goes right above to VWAP, and then even then some trying to get towards this moving average up here. So again, turned out to be a nice trade. And then throughout the day came back down. So again, if you were watching Tesla, it did trade very well on Wednesday. CGC was a real nice one, and this is a stock that a trade that both Brian and I should have taken. We just hesitated, right? So clearly here you have a lot of just indecision, right? A lot of choppiness here in this area. But then look what happens. It gives you this pop, and then slowly just the volume dies down. And this is why we didn't get into this trade. The volume was kind of so low around here. But then slowly you can see here it just starts getting some buying pressure, and just cross up nicely on this 9 EMA past the high of the pre-market and all the way up here to this 4064 level that we had. So again, it was a slow mover, comes back down, tests the 9, and then it continues on its way up. So again, just a beautiful trade here. If you took this trade, it turned out to be very nice. You have to be patient though, because the volume really died down. Obviously, it was half a day yesterday, so we knew the volume was going to die down quick. But off the gates, this one kind of seemed to really die down pretty fast, and it just didn't seem like it had the momentum. Next, we have AMD. AMD turned out to be a great short as well, guys. You can see here a nice little drop, comes back up, tests the VWAP. This one tries to get above the VWAP, is really slammed right back down below VWAP. The next one tries to do the same thing, cannot break out. Here's where the good entry is going to be, right? Because you got to be careful. If you get in here for open range breakdown, right? If you jump in here or on this possible pullback, you're most likely going to get stopped out once it does this. But once it comes back down, you can see it's starting to get into a nice downtrend. This could be another re-entry for the break of the low of the day. And then you finally get that nice drop here on the way down. very clean V reversal back up to VWAP. These are not easy to catch, guys. This strategy here is very difficult because you never know if it's going to come here and continue on its way down. The key in this strategy is the entry and being as close as possible to the bottom here of this candle for your stop loss. That's the best thing because you can easily get stopped out here several times. It turns out to be a great reversal. Great V reversal, comes all the way back up to VWAP. Tests VWAP a bit here, has some hesitation, and then it's able to break out a little more before it just starts going sideways. AMRN was on our list as well. MARN was very strong, guys. Had a crappy pre-market action. Pre-market action that morning, but then it turns out to be really nice. Look at this pop here, it just takes off nicely, does a little bull flag here before it does even another push on the way up here. Here started getting very top. It was very difficult to get into the straight here, especially after this drop, but it comes back and tested this level one more time, and then you get this next leg going on over here. So again, just very nice trading here on MA and AMRN. SYMC, this one, it's funny, we talked about this one being choppy at the open. It had a great pre-market action. Again, it has some good volume. I think it was like I forgot, but it was a high number of something, 1.2 million or more, I think it was. But again, it was just not creating, in this area, it was not creating nothing great. It finally started to do a nice drop here and come back up. But then the open, we mentioned that the open might be choppy just because of the sheer volume this thing was having. And it did just that. Just pure chop here. It did eventually end up selling off. But again, just very choppy, like the first hour and a half. Again, not really tradable at this in this area. As you can see on the 5, it's just not clean. Look at the 1 as well, just not clean at all. And this is with volume, guys. This had a lot of volume and still couldn't create a good, nice flow here. And then last but not least, we had KPTI, which is also active today. Actually, it's the only one on our gappers today. On Wednesday, was this a stock? Yep, here's the pop from Wednesday. This one came out of nowhere, just started pushing higher here in this area. Look at the volume coming in, and you had this beautiful pop all the way up here, sold off, and then just it just kind of came right back up to towards the high. So it did end up being really strong. Today, this morning, again, it's active. It's got some volume. 1.9 million shares traded so far. Let's get the 1 minute in line. So we'll see what it does today. Just want to show you the daily on this one. It's had two really strong days. This was Tuesday. This was Wednesday. And today is gapping up again another 14.3. So we'll see what we can get out of this one today as well. This one is a lower price stock, but it's not a low float, guys. This one is a 57 million shares float. So it is tradable. The key here, because it is a lower price stock, you really have to watch your number of shares. You got to be careful with your risk management. Because although it's a low flow, it's thinking in the last 2 days, it has been moving more than the ATR. Don't be fooled by this 68 cents. It's moving a lot more than that in the last couple of days, right? This is a 14-day average. It's a little higher because of the last 2 days, right? 2 days been moving a buck or 2 or 3, but on average, it's a lot less than that. All right, guys. So that's what we have. Peter, what do we have for news? I mean, probably going to be pretty dead, but what do we have forward to look towards this day and possibly over the weekend and next week?
Well, there actually is some news, that just came out. So the markets have been looking for the employment numbers, and non-farm payrolls came out higher than expected. So last month was an abysmal 75,000 new jobs created. So it's good that there were new jobs, that it was positive, but it was a lot lower than expected. This month, they were hoping more than double that at around 150, 160,000 jobs. And the number just came out and said it was 224,000. Now, what's interesting about that is if the job creation actually gets too high, then the all eyes shift to the Fed to see what they're going to do with interest rates, because the expectation was that the Fed was going to maintain or maybe even drop interest rates if the jobs stayed low. Now that we've got a big jobs number for the past month, there could be a reaction from the Fed. So expect the markets to be a little uncertain as we wait to hear what the Fed is going to do about that. If I look across the world right now, the futures are all down slightly, not significantly, but they are all down. But that was probably in anticipation of the jobs report. Also, commodities are fairly stable, not some up, some down. Metals are down though. So in global news, there's iron ore. So we may see jump onto our lists some of the big miners, BHP Billiton, Rio Tinto, Vale, because there is a Chinese probe into iron ore prices, which have been skyrocketing recently. and there's a European probe into the prices as well. So we'll see. I don't like trading those foreign stocks because they tend to trade really, really poorly. But yeah, that's really sort of the big news that we've got. Other than that, yeah, I'm not seeing much else happen.
Yep, absolutely. So we got a question here, Sam. How did the KPTI keep trading after 1 p.m.? I believe you're talking about Wednesday. So what happens is that's after hours trading. And I think the after hours kept going from 1. I'm not sure if a half a day goes away into 8 p.m. Not sure what the cutoff was. But yeah, that this action happening on KPTI after 1 is after hours, post market trading. All right, guys, let's get into it. Let's see what we have. KPTI, we'll go over the NASDAQ active, NASDAQ gainers. Don't expect to find much stuff in play, but then we'll start looking at our regulars, AMD, JD, Baba, Apple, Roku. We'll look at all those guys and see what we can scrape up today in this very slow start to this Friday. So SPY here seems to be getting pretty active. Did anything come out in the news on SPY? I'm just gonna check Benzinga, see what's going on.
I think that was reacting to the report.
Sorry?
I said I think that was probably in reaction to the jobs report that came out.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's got to be it. So, yes, we got some action here coming out of the SPY, dropping down a bit. Looks like it wants to head lower. Let's see. We'll see. We get some activity and some action out of it. So, hopefully that can get some other stocks moving. You were saying, Peter?
No, sorry. That was...
Oh, okay, cool. All right, so let's look at KPTI. So that one is in play today. It's got some good volume. This will be the first one we add here. It is not a low flow stock, guys, but I'm gonna put it down here on just because I want to make sure I'm aware that I need to be careful with the number of shares I take here. So KPTI is up 12.5, 2 million shares traded right now. It's got a pretty nice range here. This is why I want to be careful and put it on the riskier pile. This top here is a 1087 high of the pre-market all the way up here, 1087. But look at this candle. This candle is 1040, probably all the way down to 940. So that's a dollar candle on a lower price stock. This is why you don't want to just be taking 1,000 shares just because your buying power is under the percentage or whatever criteria you're looking for. You want to be very careful. You don't want to be dropping here a dollar in a matter of minutes or seconds. So pre-market action looks great on the one, especially starting to get very nice here. It's got some serious volume. Probably the only thing that people are trading this morning based on our gappers list. So this will be interesting. We'll keep an eye on that. We'll get some levels for that. Let's look at our NASDAQ active list. SLS, not much going on. As you usually know, this is a penny stock, no movement. KPTI we have. FCEL, also a penny stock. We'll skip that one. TRNX, penny. PDD. PDD, we traded in the past. This sounds familiar. At the moment, it's got some volume. It's pretty flat right now, though. So not much going on this one. Yeah, it doesn't look great. So looks like it's got some block trades that's costing this 1.1 million shares traded, but the pre-market activity is horrible on PTDD at the moment. So we'll skip that one. If it gets any better, hits our scanners, we'll come back to it. QQQ, NASDAQ ETF, VIAV. Not much going on here. No volume. Just got some block trades going on. TVIX should be slightly up as the SPY is continues to drop. Now it's almost down 0.5% on the SPY. So we're getting some good activity here, making TVIX, which is our volatility index, move here. TYME looks like a penny stock trying to break out of the $1 mark here. So not really. I don't see anything that I like on this one. Don't like the pre-market activity. Anything under this price range also I don't like trading. Lyft has no volume. Looks like just some block trades costing this 339,000 shares here to move. Pretty flat on the daily. Looks interesting though. Daily had two big drops the last 2 trading days. I'm sorry, 3 trading days. And then is this Wednesday? Wednesday was pretty flat. Yeah, I couldn't even see Wednesday. So Wednesday's pretty flat. Might be the same thing today, but overall, these 2 days here are very interesting on Lyft. So want to keep an eye on. OASN, nothing happening here. No volume. TYME we looked at. More of a penny stock trying to break out of a buck here. If you look at the daily, doesn't look clean, doesn't look nice. Nothing that I like about this one in that price range. DBVT is this one we looked at before. It doesn't trade very well though. It is up 18.5, so that's good. It's got some volume. 127. But let's see how that volume is trading. Yeah, that volume is trading horribly. You can see here the pre-market action doesn't look great. I do like that it's up 18.5, so that's nice. Peter, do we have any news causing this pop up today on DBVT Technologies?
Yeah, no, I didn't see anything on DBVT. I'm not sure if anyone else has any news. They did announce last week, like a week ago, that they appointed a new chief medical officer, but that's the last piece of news I have, so I'm not sure what's driving this
Yeah.
one.
Look how interesting this daily chart looks, guys, by the way. What do you notice on this daily chart, Peter? Let's see if you could catch this. Very interesting daily chart just by looking at some of these days here.
It's got a very low ATR, and you can see that these little, like these, I don't like these little candles, right? These
Yes.
tiny little candles
Yeah.
that don't.
And look at the color of these candles. They're all like gapping up and then selling down. It's all red. Yeah, there you go, Ryan. They're all red. So you got one green one here, another one here, and then it goes all red for like the rest of almost the whole month. You got another green one here. You got a flat one here. So very interesting, weird daily chart. Never seen something like this. So this tells me, right, looking at history, this might be a red one too coming up. I don't got shares for sure, but who knows? I mean, it barely has any green candles on this daily. So very, I'm gonna put this here just to watch it because that's a very interesting daily chart. Never noticed that. All right, let's go down over KPTI. We have, guys, UMRX. What do we have here? This is not doing much, no volume. CETX is nasty, no volume. DOVA, DOVA. Daily chart looks interesting. Looks like we have looked at this one in the past. I don't remember that, but we do got some levels here that we must have done. Probably, probably could have been this week or the week before. You got some days here where it's gapping up. So today it is up a bit, 5.5%, but no volume, guys. Really nothing here that looks great. And if you look at the pre-market action, again, just no pre-market action activity this morning. Let's head down over to DGLD. Also not doing anything, no volume. And then TVIX we looked at already. Market is doing a small pullback here back to VWAP. So TVX is dropping just a tad. So we'll see where it goes from there. Guys, that is what we have. I mean, this is the type of day that it is. So let's look at some of our buddies. Let's look at AMD. AMD, just as expected, no volume, pre-market action. Again, nothing much going on. Really just following what the market is doing. The market is dropping like this and doing a small pullback. AMD is doing the exact same thing. Let's look at MU. MU has no volume, probably only has this drop just because of the market. So again, just following the market, not really in play. Let's take a look at JD. And if you guys have anything, also if you have anything Peter you want us to look at, throw it out there. JD not doing much. Let's look at Roku.
I've got two that I can mention.
Yeah, go for it.
The pre-market is terrible. I don't know that they're going to be tradable, but just in case anyone else is looking at them, NRE jumped up on my chart because of the volume. It's a buyout though. The buyout price is set at around $17, $17.03 by a private investment firm. So I don't expect much out of that, but it is getting some volume. And then the other one is NIO. We've looked at NIO in the past. It's a Chinese electric car company. No real news on it this morning, but they think it's moving because in sympathy to the Tesla moves, any increase in Tesla is seen as good for NIO as well. And as you mentioned at the top, Tesla's had some motion over the last couple of days. So I'll keep an eye on NIO. It can sometimes move well, but if you look at the daily chart, it's been pummeled over the last couple of months. When the expectation was it was going to skyrocket, it dropped from $10 down to around $3 where it is now. So it's sort of suffered over the last few months.
Yeah, NIO is a very difficult stock to trade. We used to have this one on our list a lot. See, we had around this range here. We had quite a bit of some action on NIO, and they actually had a nice daily. Look at this daily chart. But in the intraday trading, it was not clean. So we'll see what we get out of it today. Again, just like you mentioned, pre-market action doesn't look too great. It does have a nice bottoming action here, as Brian will call it. On the daily, you got a nice level here on around 250-ish, maybe a little higher. where you got some clear support. Try to break down and they couldn't push it lower. So that could be interesting. And then you got the last couple of days have been nice on it, breaking out of some resistance that you clearly have here, right? This was the last area of resistance. Breaking out here. Next one, you have the moving average in this area here. So this looks interesting daily. Worth taking a look at, especially on a day like today. And then you mentioned Tesla. Yeah, Tesla is pretty much flat, but it has been on a nice run. As low as 177 right here. 177 now back up to 234 after just being slammed, over a couple of periods. Look at this beautiful downtrend on the daily. And this is a very healthy downtrend, right? You can see this very clean, very clean movement. So anyone short for Tesla, that would have been great. Let's look at QCOM. Abio is giving us QCOM here. QCOM is down 3%, 31,000 shares traded at the moment. QCOM it's difficult to trade QCOM if it's not really in play. So we'll have to see what it does here. I do like this drop here, 3%. Doesn't have the volume right now, but again, I think a lot of stuff today is not going to have the volume as we have been seeing in the stocks we have here. So again, it could be a day, guys, where we just don't push anything. Do not force any strategies just to trade. It could be a day where we just watch and see what happens. Eyes on the scanners. If anything comes out of that area. So QCOM at the moment down 3%. We'll see what happens here. Not sure if that is being caused by the markets dropping. It's trying to bounce back a bit now by the SPY, so we'll see what it does here. What else we have, guys?
Last one I'd throw in there, Carlos, for consideration is Microsoft, which surprises me I'm saying it, but it's actually been moving, not on any particular news, but fairly well, at least earlier this week and last week, I've noticed. So, it doesn't have a great pre-market, but there is some pre-market activity, and I'll just keep an eye on that to see if it puts a move. Keep in mind, Microsoft doesn't tend to move a lot, but it tends to move steady. So it can actually be easy to trade off of technical levels, just because it tends to have these smooth, movements rather than jumping all over the place.
Yeah, I agree with that. Let's take a look at AMRN. Let's click this right. Here we go. All right, what do we have here? So this one's been having, again, just the last two trading days have been very good. Pretty flat, no volume right now, but this could be a good one to watch later on in the morning if the market decides to, trade one way or the other. Again, just right now, just no activity, but we had a great continuation day on the last trading day on AMRN. It opened up, dropped down a little bit, and then it just took off nicely here all the way up to almost 24. So that was a great continuation day on AMRN. We'll have to see what it does today. We'll really have to see how the market's open. I don't expect a lot of stuff to move very big, so I don't expect this to go either up or down in a nice continuation day from the last two trading days. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see. This is one that we can have our eyes on, or put on, or wait for it to hit the scanners in any way, shape, or form. What else we have here? KPTI is it's got some volume, pretty choppy right now within this $10.30, $10 area, so not looking too crazy at the moment. What else we have? All right.
Also, YouTube.
Yeah, I was just going to look YouTube, at that.
Yeah, sorry. Somebody's recommending TYME. They just announced update on phase 2 study. It looks like, there's trading happening, but look at it, it's weirdly flat. Like it's really just straight across. It's also very low priced, but it isn't a low flow.
Right. Yeah, I don't like this pre-market action right now. The way this looks, you got this pop, and then it just kind of gets flat here. So we'll see if this can break out of here, if this can break out of there, then then you can have a possibility of some good trading. But right now, it's just the pre-market action is not great. Is it worth watching? Yeah, I think it's worth. We can throw it in here. But again, I didn't put it on there as I looked at it earlier because it just didn't look too exciting. It looks like it just wants to be flat here. So we'll see. We'll see if it can break out of that, create a new good pre-market action. All right, we have some more on here. BHP. I think this is a foreign stock. Yeah, this is a foreign stock. We traded this one before in the past. Or at least not traded, but at least looked at it in our pre-market show in the past. And just look at this daily, how nasty this is. Doesn't move much, guys. Again, this is why it's not really one that I like to watch. It's down quite a bit, right? 4.5. But this is normal for this type of stock. Every day it gaps, right? Just because it's foreign. So this doesn't really mean that this is in play or that you're going to get a big movement out of this. and the action, the intraday activity might not be great at all. Rio is one that also is one that doesn't trade very well. It's also down today as well. As you can see here, down 5.9. Again, not great pre-market action neither. It's one of those stocks just like BHP. Again, same situation. And BBL also down.
Yeah,
so
BBL just,
yeah, so these are all in the same category, I'm assuming.
yep.
They all look the
Yeah,
same.
they're all related to those probes in Europe and China about iron ore prices, as I mentioned earlier. So these are all miners.
Yeah, so we'll see. Again, I just don't really like, even with the news, I don't like the way these trades, they don't trade very clean. Out of all of them, Rio might probably be the best one. I think that's the one we have taken some stabs at before. I think this might be the cleanest one out of all of them. So, if the news is serious and we're going to go one way or the other, this might be the one to watch. So we'll throw this on here just as possible, and we'll see if we can watch something out of this. All right, guys, let's get into. Oh, we got a few more here before we get into some announcements. DAL. Let's look at this one. DAL's got an okay daily, not great. Don't usually like the way these airlines trade. Again, it's just this daily here, just nothing exciting right now. No volume, guys. Not really much going on. No pre-market activity. Next, we'll look at TRNX. I think we looked at this one earlier. It's this penny stock, yeah. So we won't take a look at that one. SYMC. SYMC had a great gap up day on Wednesday. But then it didn't do much. If you look at this day, look at the details as we looked at earlier. Actually, we got time. Let's look at it now. Just didn't trade well, guys. Look at this in here. And this was with some volume, just pretty much very flat. It finally did start dropping, but it doesn't move much. It went from 25, what's this, 25.40. It dropped 30 cents. And then from there, just kind of kept being choppy. So, again, just didn't trade clean. Not sure what's going to happen today. And this is after gapping up. It was gapping up quite a bit. So, you want to expect more out of a stock that does that. Could just be because of the holidays. Yesterday, again, just look at the volume here. It's this huge volume and barely any movement. So, could be because of the holiday, but not sure. So, today, right now, really no activity. Not sure what to expect out of this one. We'll do two more. AVGO. This one is the one that's in talks of a possible rumors of a buyout. Not doing much right now, guys. No volume. Only 4,000 shares traded. This one here, WIFY. At the moment, no activity, no volume for today. And then INTC, we'll do this one as the last one before we get into the announcements. Pretty much flat, guys. Not doing anything right now. And INTC is one that, if it's not really in play with the rest of its sector, is really hard to trade. Very choppy. And we've seen that, in a couple of days. All right, let's get into announcements, and then we'll try to pick out the best out of this list here. Again, guys, we have a lot on here, but a lot of these are all really more possible. A lot of stocks on here are not in play. Majority are not in play. In fact, I don't think anything is in play besides KPTI. All right, so our job today is to see if we can find some good opportunities out of this one, out of these stocks here. Not force any trades, but wait for a setup to show up, and they might not show up today, given on a Friday after a major holiday here in the U.S. All right, Peter, take it away. What do we have for announcements?
Yeah, so let's start with, for everybody on YouTube especially, if you're thinking of joining, now is a great time. Our lifetime memberships are discounted. They're off the 30% off the regular price in recognition of Independence Day and the July 4th holiday. So the code is Independence. Just you can use that to get a discount off lifetime memberships, as I mentioned, either with or without the DAS package, which you can get independently if you wish. Coming up in BBT News, we have our next meetup. So anybody who's in the Vancouver area or wants to travel to Vancouver, I'm always amazed at the people that fly in from all over the place or drive in to attend our meetups, and it's fantastic to see people coming from all over. But in Vancouver on July the 6th, which is coming up tomorrow night, they will be meeting. So you can check out our Facebook page for the exact location of that Vancouver meetup, Saturday, July 6th. Coming up later in July, we will have Dr. Brett Steenbarger, who's going to be joining us on the Friday, the 26th of July. So Dr. Brett Steenbarger said will be joining us online to do sort of a private podcast for our members only. So if you want to be able to see him and directly ask him questions, which is a rare opportunity, maybe use that lifetime membership discount code to sign up, and you can take advantage of that before that happens. So in our forums, we're taking questions in advance so that he can prepare, but we will certainly take questions on the day as well. But the more in advance you can put them in, the more likely he'll be able to give you a very thoughtful and thorough answer to any of your queries. Last but not least, I'll just mention the fact that ongoing, we don't advocate any particular platform. You can trade with any platform with us here at BBT. It's really more about trading psychology and the way you approach the markets. However, we do have a preferred platform for our own use, which is the DAS platform. And as such, we know a lot of our users also tend to use it because of its stability and what it provides. So if you have questions and you're just new using DAS, or you've used it for a while and you're trying to figure something out, we do have someone focused on answering those questions. So again, if you go into our forums, there's tons of information. And it's funny, actually, the DAS team sometimes comes to our forums to get answers to items that they could provide to some of their users. But if you've got questions that we can answer, submit them to us again in our forums. If you look in our announcements up above here in the chat room, Abiel has provided a link where you can get support at any point in time. All right, that's it for announcements.
All right, excellent, guys. So let's see what we have here on this very interesting slow day. Let's start with the top. So we have AMD here. Nope, I think there was more above that. Then we have, oh, I've moved KPTI down here. All right, so AMD, guys, pretty flat. We have some levels already from Wednesday, as it's in the same area. It has not moved. So we have 31.34. We have 32.58. You also have a possible in here. AMD's not going to move much. Actually, I think I did have this before. Not sure why this level is not on here. So 32 basically is going to possibly be when you can see here you have some levels of resistance, and then that same level becomes support for these 2 days, and then resistance for this one. So 32, obviously a whole number on top of that. You're going to also have some action and some increased volume within that area. Above that, you have 34.25, which is the main spike over here. If we can get up there, you can possibly do this one, 33.52. I just don't think we're going to get up there, especially not on a day like today. Towards the bottom, you have some moving averages coming right below the price action, so that's great. We can add another level right in here. I like this one here. I'll explain why. One is a whole dollar number 30. But on top of that, look at the support and resistance you're getting off that level as well. So that one could be good. Then all the way down here, you have 28.51. Don't expect much out of AMD today, but I will watch it because I'm going to be looking for anything that can get some really good volume and head one way or the other and try to spot an opportunity. MU also pretty active right now with this. Well, not pretty active, but only active because of this drop. Although for MU on a regular day, this is a lot of shares traded because MU doesn't trade much. Usually it's very low. So I know they might get the volume. Even on a day like today, you have a nice drop here. It's all about, is it going to provide us any good opportunity to take it for a ride at this point. So MU down 1.3. It's got some okay volume for the type of MU stock that it is. As far as levels, looking in here, I'm going to remove this and unclutter this a bit. We have a nice moving average right down here. The price action is very close to where the low of the pre-market is. So I'm marking down 31.51. And then down here, you can possibly do this other one here, 37.54. Then you got some moving averages in between here and another one all the way down here. Towards the top, plenty of action. Since it's been choppy the last 2 trading days, you can see you have some levels being created here, highs and lows, and you have it previous day close right in the middle, this black dotted line. JD, on the other hand, very similar. Again, just pretty much flat, no activity. I'm going to remove this one. Not much going on here. Roku, same. Roku is again just no activity, so I'll remove it. NRE, I don't like the way NRE is trading. It's got some really good block trades here, right? Look at this one right here. Just happened around 1687, that price range. Some good ones out here at 1685. So again, just a lot of big block trades. I think, is this the buyout you were mentioning, Peter? I believe it was. So
yes, that's right.
So this could be possible to watch later on today, guys. Again, right now, activity pretty much flat. 1690 high of the pre-market and low of the pre-market is sitting at 1678. So I'll be on the lookout to see if we can break out of that range and head into one direction or the other. but the way it's going right now doesn't seem like it's going to have a good pre-market, a market open, just pretty much flat at the moment. NIO, guys, is probably the best out of the bunch. But again, right now, it's just not looking great. In the pre-market action, it does have some volume, 919,000 shares traded at the moment. The daily is probably the best one that we've seen so far. Low of the pre-market sitting at 320. So 320 low of the pre-market. High of the pre-market slightly above the high from the last trading day, 333. Above here, we have a nice level, also supported by this moving average, 359. And I think that's enough. And towards the bottom, you got the previous day close. If you lose the low of the day right now, the pre-market, and then you have 304 from this beautiful spike here. This is a nice little pop, and then heads right back down. So that's what we want to see on the type of support resistance. Below that, you have the highs and lows. So that I think is enough for NIO. But again, just right now, not doing much. Daily looks decent. NIO could be very difficult to trade, guys. So we'll have to see if we can get some kind of action or volume out of this. Tesla is again probably dropping down because of the job report as well. The SPY got some movement out of that, but right now the volume has dropped again, so not much going on. Tesla again has been pretty active the last couple of days, trying to get a bounce back here. Right now, pretty flat. I don't see anything that I like on it, so I am going to remove it. QCOM is, I like the drop, but I know QCOM could be so choppy and the volume is not there. So again, guys, just gonna remove this one and get it out the way. Microsoft, again, just I don't like the way it looks right now. It could be a possible for later on today, so I'm gonna drop it on here as Peter was mentioning, but I just nothing that I like on it really. KPTI is the only one that's actually trading with some kind of volume. 3.2 million shares traded so far. It's got a very active, not a clean pre-market action, but it's got a very active pre-market action, which anything we can find today with a pulse is attractive, right? So this is why we want to be very careful to pulling that trigger. If you do feel the need to trade today, going half size will be a very good idea. High of the pre-market, 1088. Above this, we have 1195. And then towards the bottom, we have the high and also the low of the pre-market, very close to a 933, which is the high from the last trading day. DBVT. Whoops, how do we get to that one? Okay, this one here. I like the pop here, guys. I mean, it's up 17.9. Everything has red candles here. What I don't like is I don't have shares for sure. This would have been a good one to possibly be able to play both ways. High of the pre-market sitting at 1196. Low of the pre-market sitting at 1085. Below this, we have a nice level below the pre-market at around 1036. Again, I don't have shares for sure, but this could have been a good one to watch for a possible short. If it can break down out of this pre-market, you got a nice level at 1036. That could have been nice. Again, no short bias, but it just looks like it might want to lose it there. And also the history shows us here that when it gaps up, it usually just sells off. All red candles, right? This is one we looked at earlier. Doesn't mean that that's what's going to happen, but you know, you want to be on the lookout for the break of this 1089 for a possible good risk to reward to head down to 1036. So I'll be watching that one just because it's interesting. Right now, the pre-market action is actually looking better than anything else we have on our list, so it might be worth watching. TYME is breaking out. It's trying to get going here. If it can break out of this pre-market high at 173, it could be interesting. It's not a low flow stock, guys. It is 57 million shares, I believe. No, 47 million shares. And then we have a $1.73 is the high of the pre-market right now. If we can break out of that, clearly you can see 173 has been resistance here. Cannot break out of this and sells right back down. 144, we have some levels already. 144, you can see it's a clear support area. Held this for a while until it broke off, goes down to the next level. And above that, we have 196 and 232. So could be interesting to look at this one. It's got some volume now. Pre-market action not trading very clean. And just be careful with the price on this one. Don't take just tons of shares just because. So TYME, I'll put this on here. RIO, this is the one with the miners, I believe, right, Peter? Correct me if I'm wrong.
That's right.
Yep. So then this one, out of all of them, the BHP and I forgot the other one, RH something, This one is the one that probably trades the cleanest out of all of them, and we have looked at this one in the past. It could be choppy when it's not in play, but if this news can get some movement out of the markets on a day like today, we can possibly get something out of it. 60.93 high of the pre-market, low of the pre-market, sitting at 59.99. I feel like I'm selling something. 59.99, and then we have some levels towards the bottom. I'm gonna move this one here, 58.98. I'm gonna move up over here. The reason why is because probably when I put this level before on top of this one, right, I was probably trading within this day here because it had gapped up. But now that we have more recent information, your levels you want to update your levels to make them, relevant to where your price action is now with more recent information. So this 59.29 is better than what we had before. All right, so that's good towards the bottom. Towards the top, in case we get going, I'm gonna mark down this one here at 61.66. The reason for that, you have a nice day here, coming and testing that level, and another one also here as well as resistance and possibly support here. So again, not the cleanest daily chart, and this is why when you have a type of chart like this, it's very difficult to find levels. I mean, look at this, just not clean at all. But again, it's got some news going on with all these miners. This will be the cleanest one. I'll watch this one in case they all decide to dump. I do have shares for short, and this one seems to be the cleanest one. All right, guys, so that is what we have. Again, just going to go through this, just kind of get rid of some. Go ahead.
Yeah, two more for consideration. There's been some chatter in the room and on YouTube, but popped up on my list was GRFS. If you want to look at a weird chart, it's over 12 million shares traded this morning, but I can't find them on the chart at all. GRFS.
Oh, FS.
Susan.
Okay.
FS.
Huh.
So you can't find them on the chart. So wherever these 12 million shares are traded, they're not reported in the chart itself, but they're on the
yeah, see
on
right on here. This is probably Norm. Norm probably had a hockey error on the beach today. That's probably. I'll talk to him. I'll tell him, take your finger off the button or something. But yeah, this is interesting. Any news on this today or?
It did get FDA approval on one of their drugs, so that's now a couple of strikes against it. It is a foreign company; it's a Spanish drug company, so I don't know how it traded on the Spanish or whatever exchange it trades on. So so that means it could move choppy. The daily chart looks like a nice steady increase, which could bode well for a pop up today, but who knows what's going to happen. So we'll see if it jumps up onto the scanners. The other one for consideration after the open would be CGC. So it's our favorite pot company in Canopy Growth. So the Canadian markets were open yesterday, and the Canadian equivalent of that is Weed, which is just because it's a dual traded stock. They were downgraded because of the firing of their CEO. They actually had a co-CEO role, and one of the main founders, who was one of the co-CEOs, Bruce Linton, was fired and by the board, and I guess it's not seen favorably in the market. So we'll see what happens. I think it could be choppy. I think overall it's actually probably a good thing for the company, but who knows? But anyways, we'll see if it moves after the open. But CGC might be worth watching because it has traded well in the past.
Yeah, CGC had a great day on Wednesday as well. I mean, it had a good day. So that could be worth watching. Yeah, I looked at Rokudan. Roku didn't really have good volume. I mean, a lot of stuff doesn't have good volume, but I'm gonna try to watch as the best of the crappy stuff that we have now. I mean, that's the I guess the best way to put it. So right now I have AMD. AMD's dropping here a bit. It's really following the market. The market looks like it's gonna head right back down after the job report opened this morning. You had a nice little drop here, so you're down almost 0.5%. AMD is probably following that. If AMD can get the volume and drop, we can take it for open range breakdown, right? So that's what I'm looking for in AMD. MU is also following the market. So if the markets drop, these two could be a good possible ones to trade if they follow the markets today. NIO, again, just guys, this one's looking really choppy. I'm going to remove this one. Several reasons for me personally. I don't have shares for short. Yeah, it's got great volume, but also my experience on this one, it doesn't trade very well. So I'm just going to get rid of it. TYME. I'd love to see TYME jump out of this 173 with some good volume and some good trading patterns. Right now, this pre-market action doesn't look clean at all, but we do have some great levels on here based on support and resistance. So we'll see what it does out of this. It's not a lower flow. It is a lower price stock, so just be careful with the number of shares you're going to take here. IRO I have because this could be this is one with all the miners, so this looks like the best one. I'll keep an eye on this in case this thing goes south and gives us an opportunity to get in. KPTI is very active, probably the only one with the most volume this morning. 3.6 million shares traded so far. Last couple of days has had some good trading. Look at this great range is stuck in here. Breaks out of this with a lot of power and a gapping up today 14.8. So again, also not a not a low flow stock. KPTI, I think this is one that's 57 million shares. So this could be possible for today. Again, lower price stock, guys, not as low. $10 is okay, but just be careful with the number of shares you take today. And don't force anything. And CGCS might possible. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, that's it. And then DBVT. I'm gonna throw this one on here in case it hits our scanners. I can look into it, but this will be my watch list for today, guys. This is what I have, and we'll see what we can get out of it. All right. I don't have anything else, Peter, unless you do.
Nope.
All right. Excellent. All right, guys, have a great day on YouTube. Have a great weekend. Trade safe out there today. Again, it's one of those days where you want to just be cautious, be patient, don't force anything. Reduce your size to half size. It looks like it could be a very choppy day. And just, again, guys, these stocks are not in play. I don't want you to think, wow, the stocks that Carlos and Peter picked are horrible. No, these stocks are not in play. I'm going to watch this and see if something comes out of it. But these stocks are not in play. This is why the watch looks so horrible this morning. And it's expected in a day like today where everything is really slow, and especially after a major U.S. holiday. Take care, guys. Trade safe, and we'll see you guys not tomorrow, but we'll see you guys on Monday, 8:30 Eastern time.
Later, everyone. Thanks for joining.